I forgot to hit fucking go live again. Yo, I am.
Is it recording, but we're not live?
No, we're definitely recording. It's just I didn't on YouTube. You got to hit go live, so you start streaming, like if you're sending to their server.
Yeah,
but you have to hit additionally go live when you want to actually go live. And
so right now we're recording, but we're not live.
We're live, right?
Okay.
Right, yeah, I hit it. It's just a button. It's one button I got to hit. Yeah.
Problem solved.
Yeah, problem solved. It's the Faye Podcast, your one-stop shop for everything TV, meetup related, along with any other goddamn thing you want to talk about. Coming to you live direct from Concept Studios. What the fuck is up? What's going on?
Yo, not much is going on right now. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not watching anything particularly intently. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like, oh, I have a show. Like I can't wait for the next episode. Like this is the thing that I'm watching right now. Lately, I've just been watching like shit for background noise.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I started a new anime. It's like not that great, but it's good enough.
What was it? Was it the one you were talking about last time?
It's called like Demon City.
Yeah, I think that's what you called it. Yeah.
I feel like the first couple episodes were pretty interesting, but like now it's kind of gotten like you know, yeah. I feel like it's a bit dated.
Like the series overall.
Yeah, like the style of animation, the like plot, the script. It's like very like
anime
90s.
Never really like. What is 90s anime versus today anime? I feel like it's all kind of the same.
It feels like the Ninja Turtles. Remember like the old like Ninja Turtles cartoon back in the day?
It's hard for me to imagine. Like I can picture but how does that translate to anime though?
It feels like it's like, you know, think about like, all right, when your Saturday morning cartoons, Ninja Turtles comes on, it's like 2000 or it's 1998 or whatever. And there's a certain like look and feel to the animation. There's a certain like plot. There's a certain I don't know what the exact word is, but there's a certain like feel to the style of storytelling, art, music, all that stuff. And so this show feels like very, very dated. Whereas like there are other animes that you can watch now that, to your point, you're right, that like it doesn't matter when it came out, as long as the animation is good, the story is good, the music is good, like you can't really tell when it, you know, you can watch if you've never seen Dragon Ball Z today and you watch like Dragon Ball Z, is that Dragon Ball Kai or something like that?
Yeah.
You have no idea when it came out because the art and the animation is just so dope. But this feels older.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like so I'm watching that, and then there's a show Harlem on Amazon Prime with Megan Good. It's like it's kind of like Insecure.
How's that? I never watched it.
It's not bad. You know, it's it's not a bad
just like
show.
Sex in the City but with black women.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
You know, some like a lot along those lines.
Yeah.
It's not a bad show. Like I enjoy a lot of it, but it's mostly like background noise.
Yeah.
And I'm like doing other shit. So
we gotta get you on some shit.
I gotta find a new show.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I saw a rating recently. I think I put it on the card.
You did.
Jack Ryan is the number one rated one. And I've been wanting to give that show a try. Either like Jack Reacher or Jack Ryan, one of those like Amazon shows.
That shit looks kind of lame.
No, I mean,
John Krasinski, just I don't know if I could buy him as like a serious action dude.
Yeah.
Like I'm always just gonna see Jim. Just
True,
like I'm just gonna wait for him to look at the camera and go.
And that's so unfortunate because like I mean I did like him in The Quiet Place, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I've been wanting to watch Jack Ryan, and it from the trailers that I've seen, it does look pretty good. But you're also right; it's hard to see him even in the trailers. Not like watching him fight and beat dudes up. Like,
Jim,
fuck out! You're not. Jim is not
Where's
square
Pam?
enough. Yeah. But I think I'm gonna give that show a try. And if I do give it a try, I want to make sure that I pay attention to it. You know?
Yeah, I could just stand him in A Quiet Place because it wasn't like an action movie. It's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Thriller, if you will.
Wasn't he also in that movie? It was like the movie about like what happened in
Rainbow
Benghazi.
6 or whatever the fuck it is.
It was about what happened in like Benghazi.
Dark
right?
Moon Night. It's
it was like,
some code name that they use in the military.
Not Zero Dark 30.
No,
or was it Zero Dark 30?
No, it wasn't Zero Dark 30. I don't even care enough to even look it up. I know what you're talking about though. I can't. Jim with an M16 is just Jim with an M16.
Yeah,
that's not.
Put that down.
Not intimidating. What are you gonna do with that? You don't have to do that.
Dangerous, Jim.
I watched Glass Onion. Have you seen that yet?
Yo, I've not seen.
Oh, you never? I
I
remember you telling me. God damn.
Yeah,
do better.
I know.
Do better.
I
man.
want to.
Yeah.
I hear they're fucking phenomenal, and Glass Onion is like breaking all types of Netflix records.
Yeah, I got some thoughts.
Ooh, was it like rinse and repeat?
No. I mean, it's a mystery, so like, it's all kind of rinse and repeat, really, any sort of like murder mystery.
13 hours was the movie.
13 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't bother with it. Didn't really care about it. But I remember watching Knives Out thinking, oh my God, this is dope as shit. Watching Glass Onion was just like, I don't know. So anyways, I'm not going to try to poison the well here.
Yeah.
So I'll let you watch it, and then, but
I hate how
that your
they're
next
on
thing.
different like platforms. Cause like,
Yeah. Where's Knives Out at?
I have no idea.
Yeah. I think that might be on Netflix, bro. I don't know.
No, I think it's like, cause Netflix bought
Yeah. The second and
rights
third
to the
one.
second. Oh, they're coming out with the third one too?
Yeah. They're working on the third one right now.
Where it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Watch Knives Out.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got that. It's fine.
I wonder
Check
if it's
that
like one
out.
of those things where you gotta like rent it though.
Yep.
Yep,
You
$14.99
need a
on
premium
Amazon Prime.
subscription.
What? Oh, never mind.
Oh,
$3.99 to rent.
$3.99 to rent. Okay,
Okay.
well,
That's
here
fair. I can do that.
they have it currently on. I've got cable. I'm one of the 4 people in the world
The
to
last.
still have cable.
You should be in the new series, The Last of Us.
Yeah, it's like a blockbuster, right? It should, oh my God, we found the last blockbuster. We
Found the last
guy.
4 dudes with cable.
But it's for situations like this. It's on TNT and TBS. Which, why are those still 2 separate stations? It's the same station. TNT and TBS are the same.
What
exact
networks
station.
are still like up and running? Like
Oh, what do you mean?
FX,
FX is still there. All of them are still
Comedy
there.
Central.
They've all just switched.
I think Comedy Central is a good one.
Yeah, they've all just switched models.
The
right?
CW, is that still a thing?
Sadly, yeah, I don't know why that's still there. That needs to
Yeah.
go the way of the
What
dinosaurs.
was the worst TV network?
I would argue CW or UPN.
UPN was.
Yeah, UPN was. I mean, and UPN
Now, back in the day, UPN had a lot of like
black comedies,
shows.
Yeah, but that shit was.
It wasn't a great network.
Oh my God!
A lot of repeats on UPN.
Now, CW is just the merger of UPN and WB, so it's not, it's clearly got its origins there. But there was just something about watching UPN like a Saturday afternoon. I was just depressing. It's like you knew your life wasn't going in a good direction if you found yourself at any point in time watching UPN in like the middle of a Saturday afternoon. There's nothing else going on. Nothing else is happening where you can do anything else but watch UPN at fucking 1 p.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah, that means you didn't have no money. You couldn't go to the mall. Your friends didn't hang out. You just had nothing else going on.
Your life was in shambles.
Fuck it, let me watch.
Oh my
Blue
God.
Streak for the 7th time. Martin Lawrence.
That was definitely on.
You
UPN.
know what is now the new UPN though? Tubi.
Is it the
Yo,
new
yeah,
UPN?
I've been seeing a lot of like funny, like
Just like old shit.
No, like Tubi movies. Like people are watching this, like my grandmama's son whooped my ass, and it's like that's the name of the movie. Like,
all right,
how that doesn't make any sense.
let's spend 2 hours with this. Let's figure
Or
this
they
out.
got like Black Annie. You know what I mean? It's like a horror movie.
Oh God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's another one? This movie called Love Don't Live Here, and it's like all these like crazy ass, and they're predominantly like
All
these like low budget like
Tyler
like black
Perry
films.
funded
Exactly.
films.
It's like the films Tyler Perry decided not to do.
He's like passed
they're,
up
like,
on, but he still had he's still producing.
sold the
though.
rights to it to Tubi. Yeah. So it's I don't know if you've not seen it on Twitter or like Instagram.
Yeah.
There are all these like funny ass, crazy ass Tubi movies, and it's like I think that's the new UPN.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So yeah, check out Knives Out. You can watch that here on TBS or or TNT if you don't want to spend the $3.99. I've been watching. So I watched Glass Onion, like I said. I definitely have thoughts about that, but I'm also trying to like branch out. I'm trying to watch at least one new thing a week because I think
Like movie show, like or give like
it doesn't
one new
really
thing a try?
matter.
Okay.
I just something new. Because I have a propensity to just watch old shit. That's
Yeah.
like my main
Same.
thing is just watching all the shit that I've already watched.
Takes up less cognitive space.
That's what I'm trying to say is like it doesn't like I can just have it on and I can kind of but like then what happens is then I end up working but not working at the same time. And so it's like I'm kind of half watching, half working, and I'm never fully dedicating my attention to either of them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to cut that out. I'm trying to be more segmented, where it's like if I'm working, and I'm just like listening to music or whatever the case is. Even that, it's like I kind of have to just listen to like lo-fi or something like that.
Yeah.
Something that doesn't have any words or evoke any sort of like specific emotions, right? Because if not, then I'm just going to be distracted and I'm only going to get like maybe an hour's worth of work in when I should be putting in about like 3 or 4, you know?
Yeah, because sometimes I remember you said like have like a movie or show playing when you were working.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's I found that it is no longer a sustainable model.
Yeah,
I gotta,
when you're working, are you usually like in this space or?
Yeah, and this space usually looks a lot. You've seen it like one time where it wasn't in this, how we set it up for the podcast. So it, usually I have all the stuff over there, and it's like it feels like an office, right? But there's just too much shit. I got an Xbox in here. I've got not that I play the Xbox at any I only play the Xbox
during work meetings.
Yeah.
Fucking gaming with the headset on. You forgot
it's around
to put
the corner.
They're
like,
put yourself on mute.
Yeah, you're still your mic's still hot tuned. Whoops.
Oh man, that would be embarrassing.
No, the only thing that's ever embarrassing is getting caught jerking off while you're on camera. Remember the guy from CNN, Jeffrey Toobin? He got caught jerking off while he was like, and it was like I think on like live TV, like or not, maybe it was on live TV, but it was like during like some like conference or something like that, or some like meeting where they're like in a video conference, and he was thinking that his camera was off. It wasn't. And also, why would you tempt fate like this, dude? I have such paranoia.
Turn the camera.
No, fuck turning the camera. No,
wait.
Yeah. Like, Jesus Christ. You can't, like, you're that much of an addict that you can't just wait till after your 20-minute meeting to fucking do what you got to do.
The worst one I've seen is this video of this girl, and like she's like giving her boyfriend head while like she's on, I think she was like in college, right? And like it was like an online class, and she was like, and she forgot to turn the camera off, and she just started doming off her boyfriend, and everyone just kind of like watched. You know? Like,
nobody was like yelling at her, like,
I think people were saying like, hey, like your camera's on, like blah blah blah, but
she couldn't hear him.
Yeah.
Oh damn. Oh, you make the cardinal sin. You had the headphones plugged in while you're not wearing headphones.
And I think that might have been what happened, because like people were trying to get her attention, like, oh, like cut it out, stop it, and everyone was just like watching and kind of laughing. But fortunately, that's not as bad as like national television.
No, she's in college, whatever, right? Like
you can get past that eventually.
Fucking, you're working for CNN, and fucking everybody's watching this shit. What are you doing, fam?
I wonder, like, what did you like? Yo, I need to do this right now. I need to get one off.
No, but at that point, you're an addict. There are people who say like, "Oh my God, porn's destroying our youth," and blah 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 blah. No, it's not. Porn's just like anything else, where if you overindulge, it's a problem. But if you overindulge in anything, it's a fucking problem. If you drink too much water, it's a fucking problem, right? And water is good for you. But if you drink too much of it, it's a bad fucking thing, right? So if you overindulge in porn or jerking off, and you're doing it during fucking work meetings.
In the car while you're driving work meetings.
In the car you drive.
I wonder how many
times.
I wonder how many times that happens. Like, how many times have you been walking down the street and the dude at the red light next to you is just like, and you have no idea
what I'm wondering on is like, what is your brain doing at that exact, like, how are you able to get hard?
Yeah. While like
kind driving,
looking at the GPS for directions, and then you just
to a spot you've never been to before.
Yeah, you just get to your destination. You're just like, just wipe it on your sweater. Oh my God!
Fuck! I don't even know how the fuck we got on this, but Jesus
Tubi
Christ,
movies.
Tubi fucking movies.
That's what Tubi will do. It'll distract you from reality.
In talking about some of the things that are coming out this week, we got 80 for Brady that's coming out. I'm still unclear exactly what the fuck that is. It's like, I guess it's a movie about four best friends who live life to the fullest when they embark on a wild road trip to see their hero Tom Brady playing Super Bowl in the 2017 Super Bowl. They didn't even list the fucking Super Bowl. Never mind. It's stupid. But basically, it's just like about four women who are who are hot in the pants for fucking Tom Brady. I fucking hate this movie. I haven't seen the trailer. I've only kind of seen like little snippets here and there, but I hate the premise of it. Just like, why?
Listen, Tom just lost $100 million. Okay, I think.
He lost $100 million.
He's
up like 500.
He's still got more hundreds of millions.
Well, he's about to sign. It's either he's about to sign or he did sign the broadcasting deal.
Yeah.
So
I think he's going to sign because
he's up.
After the FTX crypto
he took
loss,
the hit. Yeah.
He's like, yo, should I take this NFL money or I got 7 rings? Should I just call it quits?
Let's start here. Do you think he's going to retire?
I don't think he's going to retire after this season,
but he's definitely leaving. I
think
Bucks.
Next season. No, so is he going to stay with the Bucks?
No, he's 100% leaving the Bucks. Like I've heard rumblings that his teammates already said basically just like, yeah, this feels like this is it.
Yeah. Yeah. Where would he go?
Well, there was that whole thing about him sliding down to Miami, him and Sean Payton, and they were about to tag team it down there. Now, I don't know what capacity Sean Payton was thinking about playing, in Miami. I don't know if he was thinking more GM than coach.
Mm-hmm. I think he wants to come back to coaching.
This is what I hear, and like he's taking off, or he's taking meetings with like the fucking who was it that he's taking meetings with? It wasn't the Texans. It was
it the Texas team?
No.
Yeah,
I forget.
I have no idea who he met with, but I know that he's been making the rounds, or putting out feelers and whatnot to see who's open to bringing in a new coach. I mean, he's only ever won 1 Super Bowl, right?
Who's Sean Payton?
Yeah, I think his winning record as a head coach it's on the plus side, but I don't think he's ever won more than 1 Super Bowl.
I feel like as a coach, you don't really need that many.
Yeah,
it's different for players, right? I feel like players they need some in order to build like credibility. I feel like coaches, once you win one, you're just like you're in the club.
Yeah, that's why people are saying like Sean McVay is like he's
like whatever.
Yeah,
been there, done that.
But like you don't want to be just one and done as a coach, right? Because you can coach for 30 years.
Yeah,
I feel like to be considered one of the great head coaches.
But think of how
you got to have at least like.
Think of how many few head coaches have actually won a Super Bowl though. Like in the amount of coaches that I'll put it this way, there's more coaching turnover than there is quarterback turnover.
Yeah, especially at on the Texans,
like Texans or whoever.
Yeah,
right?
they fire their head coach every
year.
season.
They're just like fuck it,
as if they're just like we don't want any consistency, stability, or balance within our organization.
Like they didn't even give Lovie Smith. This was Lovie Smith's first year. in Houston,
and they expected him to go to the playoffs or win a Super Bowl.
And the team was actually in most games. Like
I forgot about the Texans this season. I completely forgot.
I forget about the Texans every
year. They were
a
football team.
Yeah, I guess besides the 1 year, Sean. Even then, it was just like, come on.
The whole Deshaun Watson thing,
or no, prior to him having that whole thing, like they were actually decent. But
when they had JJ Watt, was he on the Texans?
Yeah, he was on the Texans. Yeah.
I think there was a year where they had a decent little
they made the
squad.
playoffs, yada yada. Anyways, I don't want to get too far into that. Back to this 80 for Brady shit. I don't fucking want to see this.
Nope, I have zero fucking interest.
I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about.
We got Jane Fonda here. We got Sally Field. Sally Field was what movie was she in? Not
everything. Sally Fields is in everything. She was in Man of Steel.
Dr. Dolittle. Oh yeah.
No, I'm sorry. No, I'm not. That's not.
She was
Sally
in Miss
Fields.
Doubtfire. She was in.
She
played.
Gump. She played. Aunt. Was it? I want to say Aunt Jane. That's not correct. Was it Aunt May? In one of the Spider-Mans.
Yep. She was Aunt May.
One of these trilogies, I guess.
She was, she's done some shit. She's,
No, Sally Fields. Come on, Sally Fields has a fucking pretty history career.
Yeah, I'm not. This is not like '90s Sally Fields where she was in all the fun '90s rom-coms and things like that. So this is. I'm just looking at this cast and was like, yo, this is.
It's a lot of people. Lily Tomlin is in it. She's a fucking staple. Jane Fonda. Yeah, but it's just the premise of it is all they just all want to fuck Brady. I just don't. Yeah, I don't. That actually is a thing.
I wonder how many of them he hit, and if that led to the divorce.
Like these actresses?
No, just in real life.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I don't fucking know, dude. Who cares? So anyways, that's coming out this week. But in other news, Netflix, I saw you put this on here. Netflix Netflix, they basically hire private stewardesses or flight attendants who get paid $385,000 a year. I think whatever.
So I think they're like Netflix is looking for a flight attendant to join its like dream crew. So I'm just reading from this article here.
Yeah.
And is willing to pay over $250,000. So the actual number is $385,000.
Almost a quarter million. Or almost, well over a quarter million.
Yeah.
Like that's a weird way to even phrase that.
So it said the flight attendant will also be they'll be required to like work on flights on the Gulfstream G550. Doing all the things flight attendants normally do. I don't know why the salary for this is so high.
Well, especially when everybody's cutting jobs. Like everybody in tech right now is cutting jobs, right?
Yeah.
And obviously Netflix is a it's a film streaming service, right? So it does. I don't know if it counts necessarily specifically in tech, but to my knowledge, I'm pretty sure Netflix they're going to have to make cuts as well, right? And so it's like when you factor that with like, well, okay, why are you paying? And I guess that's to like you do this in order to attract talent, in order to proclaim that, hey, well, if you're flying on the Netflix jet, you're getting the best shit. Like everybody on here is worth so much money. Even the fucking flight attendants get over a quarter.
Do you think
million.
that'll entice like big name actors?
Yeah, to like be like,
if the flight attendant's doing well and the pilot's doing well, then Netflix is flying me on this private jet.
Yeah,
talk about this
increases
movie or whatever.
Your self-importance.
Yeah. Because I guess they don't want to be on the flight with the flight attendant who's only making $70,000 a year.
They're like,
don't ask me for anything.
I'm about to get evicted. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just like, whoa.
It's just a weird thing, and like why they've made it so public. Now, granted, they list a range. So the actual range that they've listed is between $60,000 to $385K.
That doesn't make any sense.
Huge
what are
fucking
we doing?
range.
That doesn't make any sense.
That's like you go rent a car from Enterprise and they're like, do you want this fucking Toyota Corolla or do you want the Bentley truck? It's like, what do you mean?
What?
what's the daily rate? Huge difference.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But it does kind of in some ways factor into maybe they had some money free up because Netflix, we'll talk about the story a little later. They are their CEO is stepping down. So Reed Hastings has given up a CEO role, and they're having some changes there. So I don't know. Maybe this factors into their. Now I find it interesting because we're coming off of last year where their stock price took a massive hit. There was like a whole lot of things going on with Netflix, but long story short, their stock price took a massive hit.
Yeah.
And they finally sort of been able to kind of stabilize shit a little bit. In fact, in the fourth quarter, they, I think, added 100 million subscribers, which I think was ahead of sort of like some of what the forecast were for, what they do. But still, it's like, you got to kind of read the room a little bit. You know what I mean? Like if you're up, don't just spend money like you're up. You know? Spend money like you're still down.
It could have been 100K. I mean, I feel like it would have still been.
That's still outrageous.
Yeah.
Although, I guess, do we know what flight attendants actually make?
I do not.
Do we know what the range is just for? Yeah, I'll let you look that up. Yeah. Because that'll tell us if they're in the ballpark or not. Because if it's like flight attendants make between 60 and 90K, and you're offering 385, well, okay. I feel like you want there's other strings attached to that money. It's it's not, you're not just flight attending. You're also, you've got to be a full-time programmer as well. Like, like
fucking edit films, edit Netflix films on flight and still serve beverages. So it says in 2022, the average flight attendant salary in the United States was $82,175. So but I think let's say they were to list it at 100K, that's still roughly 20K more than what the average.
But that's reasonable.
Yeah,
that's reasonable.
So I'm wondering, like, what the fuck? Why is 385K?
Yeah,
I bet there's some like hidden shit in there that you got to sign this NDA. Whatever happens on the flight happens.
Well,
you got to fuck Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
While he's on the flight, like we gotta get him to do
as he's doing his Scientology rituals. You gotta give him top.
Whatever happens on the flight stays on the flight. You gotta sign an NDA. We're gonna
of course,
fucking really use this thing. But then to like market it so publicly would be odd. I don't know. Or this could just be a marketing ploy, right? This could just be part of the.
No, I don't think that's a very fucking expensive marketing ploy. If you're trying to pay 385, there's other ways.
Well, I think the media buzz, the news, the circulation of
but
this.
How is that? But how is that like? I understand that just keeping Netflix in the ecosphere is sort of the goal, right? But there's so many, like you could have said, hey, 200,000.
Yeah, 100K,
100K,
150, whatever.
That'll put
but
you
like
in,
385 is just a weird number.
Super fucking steep.
Yeah.
To try to drum some media exposure up, but you got to pay somebody $385,000 for a job that probably does not require that.
Is that a little over 1,000 a day? Right?
I don't know. I'm bad at math.
Yeah. Me too. That math was probably way off.
No. If there's 365 days in a year, 385,000 isn't too far off of that.
Yeah.
So anyways, I don't know. Weird happenings.
Wait. What? Hold on. I got to do this math here.
Yeah.
So 385,000. You divide that by 365 days in a year. Yeah, comes out to $1,054
you're
a
close.
day, just about.
Yeah.
That would bother me if I didn't figure it out.
Anywho, so let's talk about some other news. So it's so funny every now and then when you get people who embellish, right? Who kind of like, hey, I actually make $100,000 at work, but really you make about 80, 65, somewhere around there, right?
Yeah.
But no, I make 100K, right? You're embellishing a little bit, right? I don't know about embellishing that you're in a movie that you're definitely like not in. So that's where we find Vin Diesel. Apparently saying, he's been sort of talking it up. Oh yeah, I'm in Avatar. I'm in Avatar family. I'm in Avatar family.
Is he in it?
No, he's not. He came on set for like one day.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm in Avatar, guys. And he's like, no, you're not.
What did he do?
So let me read. And maybe I'm being unfair because I actually didn't even read the entire article. So I'm probably definitely being unfair.
I feel like it's so like I like Vin Diesel, but it's also easy.
It's so
to make
fucking
fun
easy
of the
to
guy.
dunk on him because he's such a caricature. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, and I feel like it's like the Fast and Furious movies more than any of his other movies that just make him look so stupid. Like he's just smiling at the kid. Like I remember I watched like what was it, Fast 9 that he just came out with, right?
Yeah.
I didn't watch the entire movie, but I caught a little bit of it on TV, I think, or somewhere I caught a clip of it. And he's like talking to his son. He just looks at him and just very slowly says, "Hey, Jack, family." Are you? You have brain damage? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Good parenting. The kid is like, yo, you're never home. I don't even know you.
And also,
his real son too.
You've been talking to me for 4 hours and got out 3 words. Like, speak faster.
just take me to school. I'm late. I haven't been in 2 weeks listening to you talk. Child social services is fucking on the way.
So let me read a little bit from our article here. Avatar producer John Landau has cleared up a major misconception about the sequels. Fast and Furious and Guardians of the Galaxy actor Vin Diesel is not in the movies, despite what the star has said in the past. Speculation began when Vin Diesel shared a video of himself with Avatar director James Cameron on the New Zealand set of The Way of Water in 2019. It's been a long overdue. There is one person in Hollywood I've always wanted to work with and learn from, and so all things come, I guess, to those that wait, Diesel said in the video, which certainly suggested he had joined the cast. Vin was a fan. Lando now tells Empire of that video. He came in, visited the set one day to see what we were doing, and people took it out of context. Well, when he says people took it out of context, he means Vin Diesel lied through his fucking teeth because he basically made it seem like he was actually in the movie when he indeed was not. He just literally just was like, guys, can I come see what you're doing? Cool, I'm in the movie, right? And they're like, what? No, you're just a dude who just showed up.
So he wasn't like, he wasn't in the movie at all. He just kind of like,
he just showed up on set. It was like, hey, what's up, guys?
They finished Fast 12 early, and then he just popped over to like Lot B or whatever, and took a photo. Was like, I'm in the movie.
Yeah, it's so weird. But anyways,
I mean, sometimes you got to talk yourself into a job, right? I mean, look at the senator or the congressman George Santos, right?
Yeah,
fucking lied about literally everything.
God.
Lied about his education.
No, you know what's even more embarrassing than him lying about all this shit is the fact that he's still a Congress member. And
so I think once you get sworn in, you cannot be forced to step down until your term is complete, unless like
what do you mean? There's okay. People make here's what I fucking hate. Here's what I hate. If it fucking makes me furious. people make rules, right? And then when something crazy happens that clearly are exceptions to this rule, right? We then turn around and say, oh, there's nothing we can do.
Well, so
it's
I
the
mean,
rules.
so like, but like in this particular situation, for example, when the president gets impeached, that doesn't actually mean that he has to leave office. It just means that he was impeached.
Well, impeach just means that you're bringing up charges, or it's either you're bringing up charges against, or you're basically thinking about bringing up charges against, right?
Yeah,
But it's not actually
in Trump's
filing
case, like,
charges.
I think he was actually technically impeached.
He was
twice,
he was never
right?
charged. He was impeached, but he was never charged.
Yeah. So he was impeached, but you can't charge a sitting president, right?
You can. They just chose not to.
No, so I think the law says you cannot. A president sitting in office cannot be charged with federal crimes.
No, otherwise you can basically do exactly what Trump said, which is you literally can just shoot somebody in the head on Fifth Avenue and nobody would care. No. It's not that you can't be charged. It's that. That's the whole idea of impeachment, right? Because that's what they tried to do to Bill Clinton back in like the 90s. They basically and it's hilarious now. Like, look at the difference, right? It's like collusion, or the shit that he did with, I think was it Ukraine? It wasn't Ukraine. What was the country that Trump? Yeah, like he had like a conversation with them, basically was like try to shake them down, like because that's why he was impeached at least one of the times. I think the last time he was impeached. I
forget what country it was.
But in any case, it's like Bill Clinton basically getting fucking dome in the Oval Office versus Trump like colluding with like other countries and shit. It's like I feel like there's a difference here.
There's a huge difference. That makes Bill Clinton's probably like, oh my god,
what are we doing?
Stop talking about the fact that I got topped in the office. Look at what this guy did.
But yeah, it's the fact that you can get charges, or you can get impeached but not be charged. What happens after what the impeachment is trying to investigate is whether you should be charged. So it doesn't mean you can't be charged as a sitting president. It just means that they have to take certain steps in order to charge you, which is why the whole process of impeachment is even there in the first place.
Yeah.
It's just no sitting. I don't think, to my knowledge, no sitting president has ever actually been charged even after being impeached. It doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means
not even
that
Nixon.
They haven't done. No, Nixon was pardoned. And also I think he like resigned from office.
Yeah,
he resigned from office, and then
he was
pardoned by, I think,
Carter.
President? I think Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter.
I think it was Carter. I don't hold me to that.
Isn't that crazy? It
was Nixon, and then
who else did Trump pardon? Didn't he? Or who else has been pardoned? Didn't Trump
as a
pardon
president?
Kodak Black or something like that?
I think so.
This try and win the black vote.
Yo,
as
fact,
if it's free Kodak, you get the whole black
tied
vote,
into
whole black
Kodak
community.
Black. Yeah, but that the whole Trump presidency is just, it's a fucking farce, dude. Like that, like where we're at with politics right now, dude. It's just all
we
just
gotta,
it's all
we got to
stupid,
reset this shit. We got to restart something. It should just be the popular vote. What are we doing?
No, forget popular vote, because I feel like even after you, like, say if we did make it just a popular vote, right? You still have all the crazy shit that you have today in terms of just, fraudulent elections. They bust people in from Guatemala. It's like, what? Yeah, like, what are you talking about? Like, I
don't know what the solution is, but like, fucking, what was that show that was popular back in the day? Like the people singing and shit, America's Got Talent or something like that.
Yeah.
They could just call in, cast your vote, and then let Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah. Ryan Seacrest could knock this out in a fucking season and a half.
Steve Harvey might get it wrong once or twice.
Yeah, he might say the wrong name, but it's all right. We'll clean it up afterwards.
We'll clean it up. Or fucking Nick Cannon.
Nick Cannon's got too many kids to worry about to be able to focus.
I mean,
yeah, we need some.
That is, he does have a lot of.
He's got a lot of kids.
Potential voting power in his household.
He
can. Nick Cannon's
a third of the country is just
swing
Nick
the entire election. We're just hearing in Nick Cannon's family has casted their votes. Confirmed the president.
Nick Cannon is officially the president. It's like, he wasn't even on the ballot. What the fuck?
All his kids just voted for him.
Oh shit! I don't even know how the fuck we got there from Vin Diesel.
No idea.
Yeah, that was a winding
Vin
road.
Diesel was lying about being an avatar.
Yeah. So it's just hilarious because it's like, of course, Vin Diesel fucking lies about being in Avatar. Like, and it's such a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Because you could just watch the movie and be like, yo, you're not in it. I saw it.
Well, Avatar is harder, I guess, because it's like, a lot of this shit is like voice acting, right?
Yeah.
So
I didn't hear you. I didn't see you. That's
no,
enough.
but it's like it's the same difference of like when Aaron Rodgers did the cameo in Game of Thrones, right? Like you didn't really like see Aaron Rodgers or hear Aaron Rodgers, but he was there.
Yeah.
He was in fucking one of the episodes, who else was like in when I think Daniel Craig was like in a Star Wars movie, right? Like he played like one of like the stormtroopers or like one of the.
I think Ed Sheeran was in an episode of Game
but
of Thrones.
But you could actually hear him because he actually sang during the episode.
Yeah, he was the kid playing the
guitar or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah. But like people who like and that happens all the time in Hollywood where some like big time actor does like a super quick cameo.
Brad Pitt was in Deadpool 2, I think, for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, so shit like that happens, and sometimes it happens where you can't even tell who like they are. Like maybe again, like Daniel Craig as a stormtrooper, you just never know, But he did show up to set. He did dress up as a stormtrooper, and he was in the movie.
Pretty cool.
So, but usually the person doesn't fucking like brag about it thereafter, and also too, they're actually fucking in the movie. There's other people to verify that they're in the movie versus fucking Vin Diesel's like, yeah, guys, I'm in Avatar too, and the producers have to then come on and be like, Vin Diesel showed up for a day, he ate some donuts, and then fucking left.
Yeah,
like I don't. Like,
I need to hear from Vin.
Yeah, like why?
Why
do you do these things? But it all kind of, I feel like, adds up to. I can kind of understand why The Rock did what he did in terms of just like, I don't give a fuck, dude. I'm not being in any of your shitty movies anymore. Like you're an asshole.
Kind of, sort of.
Like,
yeah. I also think The
understand
Rock is an asshole, but like, I don't think
the Rock, I feel like, can be an asshole, but it now makes me believe that whatever Vin Diesel did, he like 50 says he did that shit.
Probably.
You know what I mean? Like
I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, like I'm not sitting here saying The Rock's a fucking angel, because I know a lot of people believe that Rock's like the nicest person in the world. I'm pretty sure he's an asshole.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
I feel like he's probably at least somewhat of an asshole.
Yeah.
But it like you hear enough of these things with Vin Diesel, you're just like, yo, what is up with this dude?
Yeah, something's got to be a little bit off.
Yeah, what's going on with this guy? Anyways,
and you know how we got there? We started talking about George Santos. The more I hear and learn about this guy, I'm just like, fuck it, just keep going, dude. Because like again, they're trying to get him to step down. They're trying to get him to resign. He's just like, nope, not going to. He has no political experience.
But I just don't I guess I just don't understand. So we can know for verifiable facts, this dude's a lying piece of shit. Not only that, but like
we knew it about
he's
Trump.
A criminal. No. But Trump is harder because that's why like nobody's ever gotten Trump like dead to rights, because it's like nobody's like trying to charge Trump for some weird fucking reason.
No. I mean, the New York District Attorney is trying very hard.
She's trying like now. I mean, before Trump was even president, they had Trump dead to rights on like everything. All the shit that he's doing now is just exasperated versions of what he's always done, like with his Trump organization.
That's why he's trying to get back in office, because he's like, yo, I want to get in office to like fend off these.
If he doesn't win
indictments.
Oh my god.
I don't know how this guy is going to do prison.
What if he wins as he's getting like arrested? Like they like, all right,
Hey, if the cuffs are on before they announce the final election results, but also you have to be sworn in to technically. So as long as they get the guy before he's sworn in, he should be. Dude, that's a W.
MAGA, it's a lot of people. That would be like that's like millions of people who would be just in the streets acting a fool.
My God,
dude. That's why I would be happy to live in Baltimore at that exact moment.
That shit
in time.
wouldn't happen here.
No, it's not. You're not. I'm sorry. Who's marching for what?
Yeah, remember when the MAGA people tried to march in Philly? And like I feel like they were up near like Drexel, like certain parts of Philly where you don't want to, like, you're not marching that MAGA shit. And they got all of them got their asses whooped within minutes. That would happen in Baltimore too. Get them boys over here and
but being fucking like,
there's too many ski masks out here though.
Nah, it's too many.
You're not
doing
too
that. Many. But yeah, it's just. Yeah, with this whole Santos thing, man, it really does highlight for me how anything's fucking possible, dude. You can be a sitting Congress member and everybody knows you lied your ass off to get to that. Like we definitively know you lied to get to where you are. And it's just like, you just show up for work every day.
You have to step down.
And it's just like, what reality is this? Like we all know. everybody who he talks to on a daily basis, the people who have to interact with him, you know, who like he enters a building and it's just like they got to check his like ID and shit. They're like, I don't even know if this shit is real, but all right, if you tell me it, I guess we have to believe it because you're a sitting fucking congressperson.
Did you hear the audio of him lying to that other congress member? I think they're in like the chambers or something like that. He's like, he's talking about all the fake shit or all the shit he invented that he didn't invent. He was like, I think he said he invented like orange juice and he was a part of.
That has to be.
I'm pretty sure it's like real audio.
No, it's got to be fake.
And then he
invented orange juice.
He's like,
what does that even mean?
So there's another Congress member.
How old is he?
Probably like 38.
Hey, so how the fuck did you invent orange juice?
Around 400 years. But like he's talking to another congressman or whatever, and then the guy's leaning in, listening to him, and then after a while, the guy just leans away, and then you just see the camera, or you just see his face just go like, "Oh my god!" Talking to this guy is like fucking impossible. But George Santos keep going. You know, if they're gonna so what happens in the government, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone's okay with the little lies, and then someone tells a big lie.
No, everybody's okay with the big lies.
Well, sure, yeah, we're okay with the little lies, the big lies, but like this guy is like just like blatantly, clearly 100% fucking lying.
Yeah,
right?
the problem with him
the
is
lies keep stacking.
It's all outlandish lies and it's all verifiable.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, I worked at this place for like years, and they're like, they go check the place. Nobody's even heard of this dude.
Yeah, I graduated from this university. Like
the university has no records of you.
And like now, it came out recently that he was like he used to live in like Brazil or something like that, some foreign country, and he was like a drag queen there. He went by a completely different name. Yeah. So he's fabricated his entire life. And I feel like it's funny because like in Congress, they're like,
he's still there.
This guy's a liar and he needs to resign.
You know what it tells me? I'm sorry, finish yours.
No, I was just like, they're like, oh, this guy's a liar and he needs to resign. But it's like, well, you're all liars. And most of you should resign. He's just doing it blatantly.
And one might argue that a lot of them do it blatantly. But I think what disturbs me the most about this is that all the stuff that he's saying is like verifiable, and everybody, for as much as they might protest and be like, oh my god, he needs to resign, it's just like everybody goes to work with him. When they were casting votes for this whole like Republican thing of Kevin McCarthy, he was there to cast his vote, and it's just like, so this person that we know, everybody fucking knows, is a lying piece of shit. Mm-hmm. Like, not even like to the degree of like you lie to your constituents, you're not going to do the thing that not even that. It's like literally just like anything that he's saying is like a fucking lie. We're still treating him as if he, like, his vote counts, like as if like and also too, the people, it's even worse because the people who voted for him, it's just like,
voted for this guy?
You can't tell me that the same people who, because he, like, so he's a Republican, right? And as I've kind of like said before, it's like the people who voted for Trump, somewhere I would have to believe, like when Trump ran in 2016, it's like, okay, maybe you can't tell he's lying. I don't know how you're not able to tell he's lying through a lot of the shit that he's saying, but okay, fine. When it came to 2020, it's just like, I don't have any sort of sympathy for you anymore because this guy is giving you 4 years of exactly who the fuck he is. Scandal after scandal, fucking taking money from this or fucking stealing money from that, or like he scammed his own people before, right? Like where it's just like he told them, hey, stop the steal, right? But then he just used that money for like, I don't know, it's like fucking golf courses or some shit, right? And it's just like, but so after every fucking thing that he does to prove that he's a liar, you're still like, no, I'm MAGA still. Like, and it's just like,
I don't get it.
All right, okay, I guess, you know, like, and so like when I look at people like Santos, like I don't really give a fuck about him. It's like the people who like surround him. I'm just like,
the people who are still like supporting him, who are on his side, who voted for him, who will vote for him again. Yeah, those people are fucking insane. Yeah. So I was just looking up really quickly like what his salary is, and I think his salary is there are a bunch of different reports here. So it says like when Santos first ran for Congress in 2020, he listed his salary of $55,000 with no assets. Santos' most recently financial disclosure filed in September shows a salary of $750,000 and various assets and dividends in different accounts. It says he has roughly about $2.6 million. I don't know what his congressional salary is. I think his congressional salary is
they would all make the same thing, right?
175. I don't think so. I think it's congressional.
Why would they make different money? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, does like the senator or the congressman for like the state of California make the same as like the congressman from like Connecticut?
I'd have to assume. Why? Like, why?
I got more shit going on. I need more money than you.
Do you like? No, I can understand people like there being a difference between like being House members and being in the Senate, right? Like I can understand maybe you're making a dollar difference there, but like within the House, it's like they all should make the same money. Like why are we? Because then you're saying like one state or one district or whatever the fucking case is more valuable than another in terms of like making decisions. But it's like, but you're there to make decisions for that place. So it's like, why am I paying you more money?
True. I guess in a quick Google search here, it just says the salary is $174,000
for a congressperson.
The annual salary of a rank and file member of Congress is $174,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
these motherfuckers get a lot of money on the back end stealing taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, it's not even stealing tax. Well, yes, definitely stealing taxpayer dollars, but also, you know, from people who like lobby them, right? Like, it's people who say, "Hey, I'm going to fund your campaign if you just go." Regulations. Who needs? Just let me pollute.
Just let me fucking dump over there. It's just
it's
oil.
Easy. You just put the thing over there, and it's fine. Just don't go over there for about 30, 40 years. You know? Just treat it like Chernobyl.
Nothing will happen to the environment. It's just waste.
It's fine. Okay, so your kids have 5 legs.
Drinking water.
Fine. Yeah. I feel like it's evolution.
Yeah.
We need 5 legs.
So what if the water's not 100% clean, it's partly polluted?
It's fine. They're doing fine in
their
Flint.
immune systems.
They're fine in Flint, right?
Yeah. I wonder what some of these for the congressmen and women who accept the money to look the other way, right? Like what was the thing? Was it like, hey, like we're just gonna put a little bit of waste over there? We're gonna
I don't think it's as nefarious as like I think we make it out to be. I think
I bet it is in some situations, and just
I'm sure
$400,000 to like let us fucking just pollute.
Yeah, I'm sure river. It's definitely like that nefarious at times, but I think the much more common thing is unintended consequences and it's not ignorance is bliss. What is the I
mean that was a great way to put it. Unintended consequences. That's like that sounds good in court.
Yeah. No, but I think that's what it is majority of the time, or like a majority of the time is that somebody might come and lobby you and you're okay, that's the word I want to use. Willfully ignorant to what the consequences are to whatever the actions are, right? So if somebody who, say like the BP comes to you and is like, yo, hey, just don't worry about this regulation right here. It's just like a waste of time or whatever. You as the person, if you're really fucking just like you don't really give a shit, you're not even looking up like what the consequences of that thing are, what the actions might lead to, whatever. You're just like, all right, fine. If the BP is telling me this regulation is useless, then you're just like, all right, whatever. You give me a $2 million, for my next campaign, and we'll get rid of this regulation. Now, 30 years later, the people in that town are like, you gave all of us cancer, right? Yeah. And you're like, I didn't know. And it's just like, well, because you didn't even try to know. Like you were willfully fucking ignorant. And then when people come to you and like, hey, this is causing it, you're like, does it? I don't know. Like, you say this, they say that. I don't know. It could go either way here. And so I feel like that's much more what it is than like the we're going to kill everybody and I don't give a fuck. Like I feel like it's just willful ignorance. And we'll get to this actually later with the Alec Baldwin thing, because I feel like that brings up an interesting thing. This whole idea of like involuntary manslaughter. Yeah. Interesting.
He's not gonna do any jail. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. Yeah. In fact, let's just get through all of these and then we'll because I definitely want to talk about that. So one quick thing, in sort of like our headline section here, an answer has finally been proposed for Nope. Interesting.
Of like whether it's a good movie or not?
No.
Or
although I guess we should just judge. Is Nope a good movie? Nope. But one of the scenes in the movie that has always sort of perplexed me was the shoe. What the fuck was the shoe about? Remember the spinning shoe?
Yes.
Where it was just spinning there in this really sort of odd way. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, well, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, what is that supposed to represent? Yada, yada, right? So we finally get an answer from Jordan Peele. The shoe represents a moment where we check out of a trauma. And Jupe, he zones in on this little shoe. That's Mary Jo shoe that has landed in a precarious, odd situation, and this is the moment that he disassociates. So the shoe for me is in essence. In one way, it's the impossible shot. That's the impossible moment that he states. So, and one of the people, I guess, that was interviewing him, dude, can you stop licking yourself? Sorry, my dog's in here just going to town on himself. Hey, bud, stop. They can pick all of that up on the mics. So the shoe reflects the themes of spectacle, which are present throughout the movie. The podcast host aptly asked Peele if the shoe could be considered a bad miracle, a concept the film's protagonist OJ comes up with during a moment of pondering after realization that aliens are behind the mysterious things happening at his family's horse ranch. And then Jordan Peele was like really excited because he says, yes, it's a bad miracle. Very good. You got it. You got the shoe. So apparently
I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah. No, it's actually it was like the one thing from the movie. I was just like, I don't fucking understand what the fuck this is supposed to represent. But I think this, again, falls in line with how I feel about Jordan Peele movies, which is it's more flash than substance for me. Because
I really like Nope. I thought it was his best movie yet.
No, I actually agree with no, I think Get Out was still better.
Yeah, you're right.
I feel like Get Out was a tighter movie,
but very, very
more
close.
Sense. Yeah, I feel like it's his best movie since Get Out, meaning that, and his only other movie that he did between that and Get Out was Us, and I didn't particularly enjoy Us. I thought
Us was okay, but I didn't care
for it.
I didn't love it. I wouldn't watch it again.
But I personally feel like Jordan Peele movies are more flash than substance, meaning that it's more about these sort of Easter egg type of situations, and this means that, and then that means that, instead of just plainly trying to say what you're trying to say, which it's a balancing act, I think, for all film creators to try to find what's the right balance between giving the audience, spoon feeding the audience exactly what you want them to get out of it, and leaving it open to interpretation, right? Or even creating these moments at all, right? Of these moments of interpretation. And I just think I don't care for Jordan Peele's balance. I think he treads too much on leaving things ambiguous, but having a specific meaning. Like, so for instance, the shoe had a specific meaning, but it was so fucking ambiguous that it's like, how am I supposed to get that without you explaining to me
what it meant in that moment?
Yeah.
Like, you really, I'm just learning this, and I'm not sure when you first discovered this, but this is like months, if not a whole year after the film was released.
No, it was like maybe last summer. I think maybe
last summer. Okay, so like it's been a long time, and I mean, to be honest, I forgot about that thing. Like, now, granted, that's not something that really mattered to me throughout. Yeah, like, I will look at a film and I'll see something like that. I'm like, oh, that's a weird or odd moment, but like, I can still stay present in the rest of the film, and like something like that I won't carry it with me. Yeah, like I won't be, I need to know what that thing means, but like I'm glad I got an explanation. Yeah, and I can just leave it at that. But I've literally never thought about that since. Yeah.
No, it again, like when we first talked about the movie, it was one of the things that I brought up, like what the fuck was, like, it clearly like meant something because we sat with it for a while, and also it's such an unusual thing. I was like, it's got to like mean something, but I had nothing to even go off of. Now, I would say that I'm not the best interpreter of movies. Like I know enough to know that I don't know enough to like, I'm not that perceptive of a person. And I think that, I'm always sitting back in amazement with other people. Like I'm working on a project and I was talking to,
it's unfortunate how animals can't get out of doors.
Yeah, you can't. Hold on, let me help them
out. No, but I appreciate the people who can watch a film and really pay so much attention to it and like catch those like little nuanced things and like think more
be able to like
it.
Interpret, what the person might mean because of the
that's
themes.
what that thing means based off of the type and genre of the film.
I am very not good at that. I am very not good at interpreting. It's a
lot
things.
To think about.
You know I don't think it's it is a lot to think about, but I also think that it's a skill that you hone over the course of watching movies and trying to like pay attention and trying to draw lines. Like, so if you're a good director, basically there shouldn't be that much fat, if any at all, in your movie, meaning that every scene means something to something, right?
Yeah.
I was listening to one of our episodes that we were talking about Training Day. There's like no fat in Training Day. Every fucking square inch of that film means something in relation to something else. Nothing's lost.
And it all ties up.
It all ties up together, and I think that that's what a lot of movies are. It's just that some movies are harder to discern what the connections are between certain things than others. But I think that with Jordan Peele, a lot of his movies, I feel like there's just like too much emphasis placed on, hey, this shirt is actually from 1985 and this show that was on in 1985 and this one particular episode in that show meant that black people need to rise up. And it's like, bitch, come on. Like, what are we doing?
Make it funnier. Interesting. Make it look good.
Yeah, man. At least that's how I feel. Maybe I'm wrong, and I'm sure there are people clearly out there who disagree with me. I just don't Get Out. I thought it was a good movie, but not the revelation that I think everybody else, it felt like everybody else made it out to be. Us, I thought was just like a fucking complete miss for me. I understand what he was trying to get at in Us. I just didn't like the manner in which he did it in. And then Nope is somewhere in between, where it's just like some parts of it I fuck with, other parts of it is like,
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I really liked it.
Yeah. Anyways.
I did want to watch it again. Actually, I had a chance the other day. It was between that and another movie, and it was.
What did you choose?
The Menu.
You watched that? Oh, like that for the first time, not again. Okay,
yeah. I should have watched it for the second time.
You exclaim how you didn't necessarily care for the Menu.
Check it out. Give it a try.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about that the other day. I ended up watching Glass Onion instead of the Menu.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if you get a chance to, if you said you want to try at least one new thing each day or each week.
But my goal this year is to keep up with movies. Mm-hmm. Like every year I feel like I'm playing catch up, so I'm just watching the movies that came out the year prior.
Yeah.
But I want to like actually be up on the shit while it's like new.
Yeah.
Versus
particularly like not necessarily just like the list that a Hollywood Reporter or whatever puts out.
No, just whatever new shit.
Yeah, I want to stay on top of like what are some of the things that are just trending. Like what are people real people actually watching?
Yeah.
But I also do want to stay up on like, all right, what are like the things that are being nominated at the fucking Tribeca
I feel like
Film
they'll
Festival
kind of coincide with each other, right?
Yeah.
Like, so for instance, everybody watched Everything Everywhere All at Once last year, and that was sort of a indie movie before it got sort of the. I don't even know if it counts as an indie movie because I don't know what the budget was.
Oh shit! I'm sorry, I completely forgot something.
Yeah,
Banshees of Inisherin, I think it's what it's called. Have you seen that?
No.
So it's like one of the second most nominated movies behind Everything Everywhere All at Once with like Colin Farrell and I forget some of the other actors and actresses in that movie. Fucking great film, like great film.
And you watched it in theaters?
No, I watched it like a couple of days ago at home.
Okay,
phenomenal movie.
Nice.
So I would, if you're looking for something to check that out. It's like quirky and weird and like, but very interesting, funny, like all of the things.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check that out. Let's talk about something that apparently everybody hates. Have you heard about this Velma slander?
Yes.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I want to hear your take first really quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to give you mine.
Yeah. I want to be quicker about this than usual, but I watched, because I heard what everybody was saying about it, and I was like, there's just no way it can be this bad, right? So I watched like the first 2 episodes. And the summary that I have is everybody needs to just chill the fuck out. Relax. It's okay. Sometimes you watch some shit, you fuck with it. Sometimes you watch some shit, you don't fuck with it. Sometimes something's like technically, not your liking,
like
in terms
when
of how they
Tom Cruise played didn't he play like a Japanese soldier in
The Last
Samurai?
I don't know. I never really watched that movie, so I couldn't really tell you like exactly what the fuck he did.
Or when Scarlett Johansson played an Asian character in Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell, yeah. That was probably regrettable. I feel like, but also it's just I don't know. Anyways, that's a whole different conversation. But sometimes you just gotta, you just don't like something because technically they didn't do it. And honestly, there are some technical things in terms of storytelling that some marks that you probably want to hit, right? Now, does Velma hit all those technical marks? No, absolutely not. And I would honestly say that it's not a particularly great show, but it's also not the fucking worst thing ever made.
Yeah.
Everybody who's making a video right now, oh my God, Velma, it's an offense to everybody. I truly don't get it. It's not bad in the sense that like it doesn't like it makes sense for as far as this type of thing makes sense, right? Like, so when I watch Big Mouth or when I watch BoJack or when I, and a lot of those things are like a little bit more nuanced, right? Like, so BoJack is probably a little bit more nuanced show. Rick and Morty, probably a little bit more nuanced show than I would say Velma is. But it's still in that vein where just quirky shit happening all the fucking time in it. Some of it doesn't make any fucking sense and comes out of nowhere. But they're all like this. So it's just like, well, why does Velma get all this hate? Now, the reason why Velma gets all the hate, we know why.
We know exactly
is
why.
because one of the more stinging, I guess, tenets of the show is to just fucking dog the shit out of white dudes. And that is clearly the reason why there's so much venom. Now, again, I think that there are other people who would say that, nah, this is just like a bad show. Okay, that's fair, but does it deserve this much fucking hate? That it's got like a 7% on Rotten Tomatoes and like just like all these like negative scores. It's not that fucking bad, And then the most offensive of things, right? And I did say I was going to make this short, but somehow it ended up being long. The most offensive of things, though, is when people say they fucked up Scooby-Doo. Obviously, this has no Shaggy, no Scooby, or maybe it does have. I don't know. There's a character that kind of reminds me of Shaggy. But
it's like
his name's not Shaggy in it.
It's like the black guy, right?
Yeah, but I don't even fucking care. I don't care. The most offensive thing is when people say, "Oh, you guys, this is an offense to Scooby-Doo." Bruh, I don't know who's
offended on behalf of an animated character.
I want you to picture this. I want you to picture this. You're in school. The bell rings. Gotta hop on the fucking bus. I gotta hurry up and get the fuck home. The bus is going slow. I might run home. I gotta get in the fucking door. I don't know where the fuck my keys are. I gotta find my goddamn keys. I gotta get in. You know why? Because 2:30, Scooby-Doo comes on?
Yeah.
Has anybody ever fucking said that in the history of the world?
Scooby-Doo's a great show. I love the original version. It's a great show. But like to be offended on behalf of Scooby-Doo,
let me investigate that statement. Scooby-Doo's a great show, right? I don't think that that's true, actually.
Really?
I think that Scooby-Doo it creates a lot of nostalgia in me because I've watched a lot of Scooby-Doo episodes, but I've never once gone out of my way to watch a Scooby-Doo episode. Have you?
I'll be honest, yeah. So
You've gone out of your way.
Not too long ago, recently,
Okay.
we were sitting on the couch watching TV, and we were just like, "Yo, we went. Like, I think we were watching like fucking Euphoria, and like after a few episodes of that, you're just like, I need to fucking take a break from
palate
this really
cleanser.
quickly.
Yeah, sure.
And me and my friend at the time was like, "Yo, Scooby-Doo," and it was an instant like, yes, like I love Scooby-Doo. You're right, it is nostalgic, but it's also like fun to watch when you go back and watch those old episodes. Like it still hits, but in no way, if they decide to change any of the characters' genders, their ages,
are we like, oh my God,
I'm not
how
gonna
could
write
you
a
do
letter
it?
or protest or be offended enough to do like a blog about it. Like I'll just change the channel. Watch something else.
I've never thought of Scooby-Doo like the Scooby-Doo was always just one of those things that was just always on when it was on, and there would have to be like nothing else on for me to like really sit down and watch like a Scooby-Doo episode. I never really like, I guess and maybe I'm in a minority here, but I never really like enjoyed Scooby-Doo so much as I just like, it was just on, you know what I mean? It was just like, we had like 4 channels and one of the 4 channels was Scooby-Doo and there was nothing going on any other channels. It's like a couple tiers above MASH for me, right? MASH is like the epitome of, if I'm watching this, my life is, I need to reevaluate everything that's happening in my life right now. And I actually want to investigate if that's actually still true, because that's just my memory of MASH, but who knows? Maybe if I go back, I'll get some of their jokes and yada, yada.
Yeah.
It took me a while to even understand that MASH was a comedy. I didn't even comprehend that.
I don't think I've ever seen one episode of MASH.
Yeah. But I could just even hear the theme song from MASH playing right now and just like immediately falling asleep.
Yeah. My final thoughts on this Velma thing, and then we can move on from it, because I haven't seen it yet, so like I don't know enough about it to actually give it like a real take. But what I can say to the people who are offended in any way by the differences or the changes. Like, it's a new show, right? It's supposed to be different. Like, why the fuck would we want just more of the same Scooby-Doo?
Well, and people criticizing it for like really weird reasons of just like, oh, like there's gratuitous violence, there's nudity.
It's an adult, like, it's clearly not a kid's show. Mindy Kaling made that clear from the beginning. This is not Scooby-Doo
And
or
people
the
are like,
version
oh, well,
of Scooby-Doo
they're in
for
high
kids.
school, so it shouldn't have any. This is like,
Euphoria, they're in high school. and
yeah,
they're
like
still,
what are we talking? Like we watched Sweeney. What is her name? Sweeney Todd. What is her name?
who? Oh,
The blonde one from Euphoria. Something Sweeney.
Michelle. Yeah,
something Sweeney, right?
Cindy.
Everybody,
Sweeney or
she's becoming a fucking global star because she's getting banged in every fucking Euphoria episode,
Great
right?
tits. Right. We don't care about
nobody-
that.
I don't hear
she's
those
supposed to be
same.
like a junior in high school, or
And I
a
don't
senior?
hear those same people saying, "Oh my,
Yeah.
what's up with this gratuitous drug use and all this fucking sex and violence and Euphoria?" I don't
But
hear
the
them saying that same
animated
shit.
series gets all the
We
shit.
were
And I think
so
they're on the same
offended.
network. I think they're both on
The
HBO.
yeah.
So come on now.
Like,
I'm going to check out Velma. I'm going to watch the episode or two, and then maybe I could, like, on our next episode, just give you a follow up of like, hey, here's what I actually think about it.
Yeah.
But like, if you're,
I mean, but I feel like this goes beyond to like what the show is, because it's like some of it's funny, at least for me. Some of it was like not even like funny, like haha funny, but just like I chuckled a little bit, and some of it was just like, all right, that's not really for me. But at no point did I ever feel like, oh my God, this is the worst show in the history of shows. I can't believe it. Why did they even do this? Scooby-Doo. It's like people, like their heads are fucking spinning over this. And I just don't.
yeah, I've never been so
don't
offended
get it,
by a
dude.
show, or offended enough to like be that angry and like write a post about. Like, if I don't like something, I'll just watch something else.
No,
that
okay.
simple.
So for instance,
I'll
right?
give my opinions on it, but I'm never gonna be offended by it.
I'll still hold that watching Spider-Man 3 for me, with Tobey Maguire, was probably the most offensive thing I think I ever. It was at least at the time.
Yes.
At least at the time, because I was expecting it to be this dark and gritty sort of thing, and it just was everything except that.
But even then, I watched it. I'm like, I don't like this. I don't care for it.
I bought the DVD.
Ooh.
I didn't throw the DVD because I hadn't watched it to that
Yeah.
point, right? And I didn't watch it in theaters, so I bought the DVD thinking, oh, this is easy, this is a layup, right? Like clearly, like I'm gonna love this movie, and I didn't get rid of the DVD until like I got rid of like all my DVDs, because it's like, okay, I watched it, I hated it, I probably never will watch it again. Moving the fuck on.
Yeah.
Like, not like, oh my God, this is the most offensive. I'm writing a letters to the producers of
Think about
Scooby-Doo.
all the things you could have did with that money.
Yeah.
Let's say you took the money that you used to buy that Spider-Man 3 DVD and
Yeah.
bought some Amazon stock.
Yeah.
That year, you'd be so much better off. You could watch Spider-Man 3 on Amazon.
Yeah.
You fucked up. It's your worst
Yeah, I
investment.
once watched
Greatest
you
regret.
spend hundreds of dollars on a bottle of what Ciroc at a fucking club. Don't sit here and lecture me about what I could have spent my money on.
There's bad bitches in there. That's investing in
What do you
yourself.
want me to do? Yeah.
Okay. Investing in yourself is never a bad investment.
Oh, fair enough. Anyways, do we want to watch these trailers? I kind of already watched both of them.
Scream, no, I don't want to watch. We
I
saw
kind
the
of just want to get to
Mandalorian
this.
trailer.
I kind of want to just get to this Alec Baldwin.
Yeah,
Should we
let's
just
jump
into
straight to it. Everyone's seen these trailers.
This is going to be
already.
a longer conversation, so I like the idea of us just jumping into this conversation. So, to make a very long story short, Alec Baldwin is charges are being brought against him in the Rust shooting. So, for those who don't know, Helena Hutchins was shot and killed by Alec Baldwin on the set of Rust. And Baldwin still, I guess, claims that he never pulled the trigger, which is, I don't know, fam. Like, what? How does a gun just? I mean, I guess that happens.
I mean, it's not
right?
impossible for a gun to go
discharge.
off. Or
But
to
it's like
discharge,
very likely that he probably just fucking around with the gun and he just pulled the trigger, thinking
Yeah.
that it was a blank.
Like, for
Especially-
example, like let's say like an older model gun,
Yeah.
and I think this was on the set of like a
Western
western. So
or
like
some shit.
they were using older model
how many
guns.
Could you imagine being like a producer on that movie, thinking, oh, I put this movie together? Like the person who wrote the movie is like, I wrote the movie, and it's like,
Yeah.
damn, and to think that you're writing the thing that will then lead to somebody eventually dying. That's a fucking mind fuck. Anyways, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Continue.
you gotta jump on the set of Avatar 2 and take a picture and just hope
Vin
you can
Diesel.
like
You
hope-
and Vin.
maybe you can get another job by just taking a photo and talking yourself into it. but yeah, it would suck
Jesus
as
Christ.
like, you know, the
Yeah.
like, especially if this was, let's say the project ultimately was going to turn out to be a very good project,
Yeah.
but like this tragic accident derailed the whole thing. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate,
Yeah.
but not as unfortunate as you know,
her losing
what
her
happened
life.
to Helena
Fuck.
Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Hutchins.
Yeah. So you were talking about the having the gun on set.
So yeah, you know, if you ever old, like in these Western films, they're obviously using older model guns, and those guns still have to be serviced and maintained. But it's not unlikely that, like, let's say you drop like an old revolver or something like that. That
Yeah.
you know that's using the actual, I don't know the fucking gun term, but like the little hammer thing. That's
I think that's what it's called, right?
It's
Like
called
a hammer. I
Yeah.
believe so. I think so.
So like, it's not
a gun
unlikely that
enthusiast.
will then trigger and then the gun will discharge. So. Is it possible that he actually didn't pull the trigger and the gun discharged? I
Possible.
think,
Unlikely.
but it's unlikely.
It's
yeah.
unlikely. Anyways, so let me read you a little bit from this article here from Yahoo. Alec Baldwin will be charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter for the death of Helena Hutchins. New Mexico prosecutors have been weighing whether to bring criminal charges for months. Helena, rising cinematographer, was killed on the set of Rust when a gun Baldwin was holding discharged during rehearsals. He reportedly maintained he did not pull the trigger. The 30 Rock star is just one of 3 people authorities believe played a role in Helena's death. Rust armorer Hannah Gutierrez Reed will also be charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Assistant director David Halls has agreed to plead guilty to negligent use of deadly weapon. The terms include a suspended sentence and 6 months of probation. Heather Brewer, a spokesperson for the district attorney's office, announced the decision on Thursday morning. New Mexico First Judicial District Attorney Mary Carmack Altwise will formally file charges with New Mexico's First Judicial District Court before the end of the month. Baldwin and Gutierrez will be charged in the alternative. Baldwin and Gutierrez will be charged in the alternative with 2 counts of manslaughter. That means a jury will decide not simply if they are guilty, but under which definition of the involuntary manslaughter they are guilty.
Yeah, that's
according
wild.
to Thursday's news release.
So this Hannah Gutierrez Reed, like, I'm just learning. So I remember her name being brought up, but like, she's being charged too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be like, what the fuck?
No. One might argue that actually she has more culpability than Baldwin.
Sure, I mean, like, she was the armor, she was the weapon specialist. She was the one who was supposed
If
to
we're
make sure
looking for chain of command here,
True.
I could understand. I actually understand Baldwin's perspective in all this, in terms of somebody hands me a gun, and I think there's a person who's on set who says like cold gun, right, to let you know, hey, we check this out. It's a cold gun, no live rounds, obviously in it. It's free to use at will, right? Now, as the person, the extra layers is like, apparently as the actor receiving the gun, you're also supposed to check the gun just to add in another layer of security to make sure that it's not loaded, at least loaded with like live rounds. And also too, I'm wondering, like, how the fuck do you distinguish between a live round and a blank round? Like, what is that? Like, are they marked differently? Like, do they look? Because if they are, then that means like nobody fucking checked that shit.
Yeah.
Because if they're actually literally like they look distinctly different, then that's severe negligence on everybody's accounts. Now,
that is true.
Baldwin as the actor you're given a cold gun, so you're thinking 2 people, the armorer as well as like the person who actually like fucking like hands you the gun, and I forget who that person. I don't know if that's this Hannah person, but the person who hands you the gun, you're telling me it's a fucking cold gun.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm handling it as if it's a cold gun.
It's been in at least 2 other people's hands before it was handed off to him.
Yeah.
But you're right. He should have, taken the time to make sure that the gun wasn't loaded, or ask those questions. Hey, are we sure that this is cold? Blah, blah, blah.
Well, let's investigate that. So for one, like, here's what he's being charged with, right? So, or I guess what the charges will mean. The first charge can be referred to as simply involuntary manslaughter. For this charge to be proved, there must be an underlying negligence. Under New Mexico law, involuntary manslaughter is a 4th-degree felony and is punishable by up to 18 months in jail and a $5,000 fine. This charge also includes a misdemeanor charge of negligent use of a firearm, which would likely merge as a matter of law. The other charge is involuntary manslaughter in the commission of a lawful act. This charge requires proof that there was more than simple negligence involved in a death. This is also a 4th-degree felony, 18 months, $5,000 fine, yada yada. This charge includes a firearm enhancement or added mandatory penalty because a firearm was involved. The firearm enhancement makes the crime punishable by a mandatory 5 years in jail. Now, this is what I guess the jury is then going to have to decide is which manslaughter charge that they're going to go with. How do you feel about how specifically Alec Baldwin in this case should be charged?
Of the two, I would say that I think this is a case of involuntary manslaughter. There might be a bit of negligence here on Baldwin and Gutierrez Hall. A bit of negligence, or Gutierrez Reed. There might be a bit of negligence on both parts. I don't know if I think he deserves any jail time for it. Again, like if the armorer, the person who's responsible for the weapons specialist, if that person tells me that they've checked the weapon and this weapon does not have a live round in it, then that armorer hands the weapon off to someone else who checks it again, who then hands it off to me. Maybe at that point, yes, I maybe should have checked it myself. But does Alec Baldwin know the difference between a live round and
he should.
Like a real bullet?
I guess he should. And Alec Baldwin's a seasoned enough actor that because again, I'm assuming that a blank round is marked differently than a live round. Which
Does
is why
Sally Fields know the difference between?
How many times has Sally Field handled a gun? I don't know.
Busting guns. Didn't she shoot somebody in Miss Doubtfire too?
I don't think there was a Miss Doubtfire 2, but all right.
Yeah, it was the darker one. So, but again, I do think Alec Baldwin, his negligence in not confirming that it was a lie or it was a live round or not.
Yeah.
Should he like what is there an eye test? Like, do they look very different or do they look the same? I don't know. Right.
Let's go with the assumption that they look different, because that's like if they don't look any different, then the fucking manufacturer, everybody's got to go.
Yeah, but then as an actor, so the weapon that we're referring to is a Colt 45 revolver, right?
Sure.
So then, as an actor, you would then have to know the type of bullet for that type of gun, and then be able to discern between a live round and a real bullet, right?
But I guess the idea here is that as an actor, you at some point, and I'm pretty like they have like protocols for this of trainings of, hey, if you're going to be handling a gun on set, you've got to go through these certain training modules in order to clear that you and. Baldwin's a seasoned enough actor, and he's been in enough of these roles where he's handling a gun, whatever the case is, that you'd have to expect at some time in his 30-year career, he's either went through this training or knows the idea of hey, this is what a live round is. This is what, or even if he doesn't know what a live round might look like, he definitively should know what a blank would look like.
Yeah. I mean, again, that could be right. It would be hard for me to determine what someone else shouldn't know, especially in the event that I do not know, right? You hand me a gun, you tell me, hey, these are not live rounds, these are blanks in there. I more than likely couldn't tell the difference. But he's like you said, he's a seasoned veteran.
So if somebody hands you a gun and they tell you it's blank rounds, right? You don't think it would be incumbent upon you to then be like, okay, well, what's the difference between a live and a blank? How do I know the difference?
I mean, I would want to see. Yeah, I mean, I would ask those questions for sure. But if they take out the clip and they show me the bullet and they're like, hey, this is a blank and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, that's as much as I know. Exactly. I'm trusting you that you as the weapon specialist have done your due diligence to make sure that the thing that you're telling me, the information you're handing off to me is real information. And if I'm not a weapon specialist myself, if I'm just some random dude, or if I'm just an actor, but I don't really carry guns at home, how do I know the difference? I would want to test it. Let me just pop one off in the ground or something like that.
Okay, now you're getting to an exciting part, which is what I want to talk about. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I cannot blame him or judge him. I'm just telling you what I would have done, right? I cannot not administer guilt, but I'm going to use that word. Administer guilt to him because of something he did that I would have done differently. That doesn't necessarily make him guilty of the crime. It makes him negligent. But I don't know if
I think that's what they're.
Guilt.
But that's what they're trying to determine, right? The idea is that they're trying to say that there was no intent behind this, which is why it's involuntary manslaughter instead of voluntary manslaughter, right? It's the intent behind it.
Yeah. I don't know if that negligence is egregious enough to put this man in prison for 5 years, 18 months, maybe 3 months, 6 months, whatever. But
well, here's what I'd like to. asked to like consider, right, is, you know, you're, here's what I'd like to ask to like consider, right, is, you know, you're, here's what I'd like to ask to like consider, right, is, you know, you're, here's what I'd like to ask to like consider, right, is, you know, you're, here's what I'd like to ask to like consider, right, is, you know, you're, here's what I'd like to ask to like consider, right, is, you know, you're, here's what I'd like to ask to like consider, right, is, you know, you're, here's what I'd like to ask to like consider, right, is, you know, you're, here's what I'd like to ask to like consider, right, is, you know, you're, here's what I'd like to ask to like consider, right, is, you know, you're, here's what I'd like to ask to like consider, right, is, you know, you're, here's what I'd like to ask to like consider, right, is, you know, you're, here's what I'd like to ask to like consider, right, is, you know, you're, here's what I'd like to ask to like consider, right, is, you know, you're, here's what I'd like to ask I don't, obviously there was like no intent from his part to kill her, right? But there are a couple things that were clear negligence, at least that I see. The one, and there's different degrees to it. Like, so for instance, the one part of the negligence is that he should have checked the gun before he shot it. And I'm going under the assumption that he knows what a live round would look like versus a blank. Okay. And if you're saying, okay, well, like maybe he doesn't know, or maybe, you know, he forgot to check. Okay. But to me, that's one part of your negligence, right? Now, whether that's something that happens like on a set of a film that it consistently happens where you know the actors don't actually check it. Okay, and that's all fair and well. The part of it that I do know is definitively negligent is that he pointed it at her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the part that is the sticking point for me, where if you don't believe that the gun is live, okay. But when you start pointing it at people, well, now you introduce even the possibility of that happening, right? Because if he doesn't point it, and let's just say he's just pointing it, he doesn't really know where the fuck he's aiming it at, that's a fucking problem, right? Like that's a problem. Whether you're holding a fake gun, live gun, whatever the fuck it is, you're pointing a something that at least works like a gun, right?
Yeah.
In the direction of, like, even if I'm holding a water gun, a fake gun, whatever the case is, unless it's a fucking green, you know, plastic looking thing where I can see the fucking water in it. But if it actually looks like a water gun, if I've never picked up that water gun before and I just pick it up, my first instinct is not to fucking point it at somebody, right? Again, and apparently, like, if you've been trained in firearms, this is something that you've been coached on, is to not point it at people. And I think that that's a clear exercise in negligence on Alec Baldwin's part. Now, that's a real question. I don't know if that's worth up to 5 years in prison.
Yeah.
When I heard the 18 months, I was like, that seems about right. That seems fair.
True, because regardless of what happened, regardless of intent, someone was killed. Someone died.
Yeah.
And I do think that someone needs to be held accountable for that. Is just a $5,000 fine, is that just enough?
I wouldn't care about the fine. I wouldn't care about fining him money, because to my understanding, they've already got their they already went through a not a criminal charge, but what's the other one?
Like a civil.
Yeah, they already went through a civil suit. So they, from my understanding, they already got some bread, you know. Yeah. So who cares at that point? And Baldwin's rich as fuck. So, like, what is money to him? You know, at that point,
if they got $1 million, $2 million, and I'm sure he has the
whatever.
Money. You know, it's a tough situation. Yeah, right.
It is.
How much time does this person get? Is 18 months too much? Is it not enough? If you're negligent, but like you're negligent without like true intent to cause harm.
But again, it's like I don't think the intent really has, because I think that it's
at the end of the day, you're right.
established.
Something does happen.
It's like, you know what I mean? Like, the thing happened, but the idea is, were you negligent, right? So for instance, it's like the difference of saying somebody, like if I open a door, right, and somebody gets hit by the door and they like fall off a cliff because they got hit by the door, right? And this is a stupid example, right?
Why is
like,
there
where's
a door?
The door?
Where the fuck is this?
No, but it's just
not on Redfin.
Yeah. Yeah, where's this listing at? But let's just say they fall off the cliff, right? I can say, yo, I just opened the door. Like, how the fuck did I know that somebody was on the other side of it, right? So you can't really say negligence there, because I'm opening a door. How the fuck would I know that somebody's on the other side? Now, it's different if there's like a fucking like window on the door and I see that there's somebody on the other side and I still open it and somebody falls out, right? Then my intent still might not have been to kill them.
Yeah.
But I was negligent because I saw the other person on the other side of the door and I still opened it and they fell off the fucking cliff, right? Instead of like, okay, did I knock first and be like, hey, can you move out of the fucking way? You know, before I open his door? Like, and so that's what the jury has to decide, is what degree then, how much blame then should be put on Baldwin. And I think that there definitely has to be some, like there's definitely not none, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't as if he shot the gun, it ricocheted off of something and, you know, then hit her, right? He shot it, you know, clearly was pointing it at her. Yeah. Okay, even if you want to make the excuse that Baldwin, you know, didn't pull the trigger, which again, I feel like that's very unlikely that that's not the case. okay, he was still pointing the fucking gun at her, like don't point the fucking gun at people, whether you believe it's live or not,
I wonder how like if they've like tested the weapon, how much they've tested it to see like if they can
that I'm really curious
recreate the or test the possibility of
or how the fuck
vehicle,
did it,
or not the vehicle, the weapon could have discharged by itself.
Or this is true, but also how the fuck did a live round make it on set?
Yeah.
How the fuck did I like
trace that bullet all the way back to the source to say how the fuck did this even get here?
Yeah. Because that is not just like an oversight. That's whoever was responsible. And again, this is, I don't know if it said the armorer was the person.
Hannah Gutierrez Reed. Yeah. I believe she was the armorer.
Yep. It's your job to make sure that all these rounds and shit aren't like live rounds. Right. But then how the fuck did it even get to that person? Cause like, I'm so curious about like, what are the chain of events that like led to this? Because at that point, when they do any sort of, when they have firearms on set, like fake guns on set, period. If I'm an actor, I don't even care if I checked it. I'm not shooting that shit. Put that shit in post.
Yeah.
Put it in post. I'm not firing this thing because I'm not either that or I'm not firing it at any one person. And even that, because it's like bullets can go through walls and shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's just like, nah, fam, I'm not taking that chance. If you're telling me there's a possibility that whoops, somebody just fucked up and a live round just happened to make it on set, and then was it the only round? I can't imagine that's the only round that was like a live round. So there had to be like a set of rounds.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing had to be live.
One bullet. It had to be like a case or a full magazine. It had to be. Or where all the bullets.
And if it's a one case,
revolver,
that's a fucking disaster.
That's a lot of bullets,
Yeah.
I don't know what the outcome is here.
Yeah.
If I were one of the jurors in this trial, like it would be a tough decision for me. But I do think that people do need to be held responsible. At the end of the day, someone did lose their life. I don't know if I would, if the vote was like $5,000 fine in 18 months, and there was and like that's what the prosecution wanted. Would I rule in favor of that? Yes. I just do think that Alec Baldwin had no intent. He was maybe a little bit negligent. It's hard for me to say how much negligence there was because, again, he's an actor. I think his job at the time was to focus on his performance. He was there to do his job, and he assumed and hoped other people did theirs. But again, he should have also been like, hey, this is a weapon, whether it's a live round or not, like it's still going to fire. Let me not point it at someone who's not even a part of the actual film in front of the camera. So there's negligence there. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in this particular case.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer.
Dude, that just has to be such and I understand that, obviously the person who we feel for right now is Helena Hutchins, who's passed away. But like that one moment that you're thinking, your brain isn't even entering the sphere of like, this is what's going to happen in this moment.
Yeah.
And then it's not like you're drunk driving, right? You drunk drive. And you're like, there's like there's a fucking chance that you could end up in an accident and kill other people, right? But you're just going about your day doing your job.
About to shoot a scene on a movie set.
And you're like, all right, let me check this gun out real quick. Yeah. Boom. And then like in that moment, oh my God, you know what the confusion must have been on him? Like, I'm just like, wait, no.
Yeah. Like,
is this a gag?
Really
like, is somebody like,
prank? Is a joke? Is like,
come on. What the fuck? Like,
yeah. And I know, like, for some people would say that, like, to even show Alec Baldwin any sympathy at all is like,
I think you gotta show him some sympathy. Like, obviously, like, we know it, but there wasn't any intent for the thing to happen, right? Like again, I think he does deserve some culpability in terms of what happened, but it's not like he set out, I was like, I'm fucking, we're arguing backstage and I'm gonna fucking, I'm gonna shoot her, like that, like, come on.
And the family may feel differently, and like that's like we can only look at it from the outside perspective of like who we find guilty, who we feel sympathy. And that's really all we can do is feel sympathy. At the end of the day, the family of Helena Hutchins, they lost their loved one, and I'm absolutely certain, or I'm fairly certain that they do want these people held accountable. So
Yeah, yeah.
we're gonna have to see what happens
Yeah.
next with this whole thing in Alec Baldwin. If he does 18 months in jail, he gets fined. You know, like what happens after that, right? And then we know he has the money in this. You know, the armorer Hannah Gutierrez Reed. And it looks like David Halls was the person who may have like actually delivered him the weapon.
Yeah.
And those are the three people, like you know, involved in this trial. Alec Baldwin, he's got the money. He'll be fine. Like, what happens to these other two people?
I feel like the other two definitely have to go away for
Go.
they do, dude.
Yeah,
They gotta
I mean,
go,
the armor,
dude.
like yo, like
They gotta go.
you had the one job.
That's your job.
That's it.
That's literally your job.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
then-
there could be the argument made for Alec Baldwin that I don't know if that's his job or not to like really be checking out. That's literally your job. Like,
Yeah.
not you're there getting paid to do that.
Yeah.
To make sure that doesn't happen,
Yeah.
and you clearly failed. And it's not even just like a mistake of like it clearly was negligence, right? Because there has to be some way to distinguish between live rounds and non-live rounds, and this is clearly a live round. You know, unless the only thing that could change that for me is if it's determined that it wasn't a live round, like maybe it was just like it just fired discharged weirdly or whatever the case is. That's the only thing for me that can be like. You can't, like, how the fuck are you going to prevent that, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can't really do too much about that. But definitely the armor plus the person who handed, which is this, you said Dan something,
David Hall.
David Hall. Yeah, they both got to go because
Yeah.
if you hand me a gun and you tell me it's cold, I'm believing it's a fucking cold gun.
Yeah. A little bit later on, I'm gonna try and see if I can like Google search like what a live round for a
Looks like
45
versus
Colt revolver looks
they've
like.
got to be
versus a fake
colored
one.
differently. There's got to be a difference.
Yeah.
It can't just be like because. Like it can't be because otherwise how would the armorer even do their job if they like I don't know, this is a guessing game.
The company that makes the bullets is like, yo, just buy both.
Russian roulette. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
Your guess is as good as
yeah. Either way, man, it's a fucked up situation, man. It's one that is super unfortunate, but you know, and I think what I do is I apply it to my own life, man. Like because it's like I go through my own life, and there's like tons of times per day where I could easily make a mistake and do this, do that, you know, like
anytime you're driving a car, you can run somebody over.
Fucking life, you know, it's not a question of, you know, would it happen or not? It's just a question of probability, you know, like, you know, like it's just chance. Like, so for one time I was driving and, the car in front of me, drove off and, we were trying to make like a left-hand turn and it was our light. And a car just came in, T-boned the shit out of the car. If I had left the place that I was leaving 30 seconds earlier, that would have been me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's just like, it's degrees of like, we're
know,
always this fucking close to that exact fucking thing happening.
Yeah. You know what's a big thing that's happening now in like Baltimore and like, you know, just other cities across like the US, like, you know, young people are doing these TikTok videos and challenges, and like there's this thing where people are not stopping at red lights, right? I forget what it's called. It's called.
Why is that a challenge?
Yeah, I mean,
that's crazy.
kids are stupid, and I'm sorry, I kind of fucking hate TikTok.
I don't hate TikTok. I hate what we as people turn it into.
Yeah.
Because it's not like the thing itself, right? It's
Well, no,
it's
actually,
what people
I
do.
actually don't fucking like the platform either. Like whenever it's just video, loud.
That's all
like,
everything
I fucking
is.
hate TikTok.
That's what
Anyway,
YouTube is. That's what Facebook is. That's
At
what
least I can choose.
Instagram
Do you have
is.
TikTok?
No.
It's like, I mean, you just scroll videos. Like
But that's what all of this is.
well, like at least Instagram, like you can, you know, sound off. It's like pictures. Some things are pictures, some things are videos. You can like choose.
What about YouTube?
YouTube, I mean, you choose the video you want to watch based off of your search. TikTok is built. I mean, it's around like your algorithm.
No, there's like a whatever the recommendeds are.
Yeah, I mean, but like again, you still choose. I just feel like TikTok is very just like aggressive. I don't know. It
like makes the choice for you. Like,
yeah, like as you scroll, like they just show you video after video after video, and you like
Yeah.
the sound, or you can turn the sound off, I imagine. But like every time I see, you know, my friend on TikTok, it's just like, and it's like the people saying and making like, here's what I did today. I had this tea, and then I went for a walk, and I put on this sweater. It's like, shut the fuck up. I don't care.
Yeah.
So anyway, but they're doing this thing where they're like, you know, I think it's like red light challenge. I'm just gonna say it's red light challenge, and like the whole thing is like, don't stop at red lights, and they're like,
Oh my God.
like gunning through the city, not stopping at red lights. And I literally saw it happen this morning, which is why, like, you know, that came to mind. I'm at the red light this morning, and we're all at a red light, and then the car, like 4 cars back, just like, and it's like this loud Infinity with it's a shitty car. It's like if you're driving that shitty car, you should just slow the fuck down. So he like jumps into the I guess the parking lane or like the bus lane and just goes around everybody, blows through a red light, right? And then there were people walking down the sidewalk, and there was like this man and this woman with the dog, and they like stopped and looked at the car like, why the fuck did that person just do that? Light's clearly red.
Yeah.
So anyway, the light turns green. We all go at the next red light. The person's right there. So like you ran through the red light
to just sit at another
extremely
red light.
dangerous. You could have fucking killed somebody.
Yeah.
Just to sit at another red light, like literally.
Did you see them like on your
200
phone
feet.
or something like that? Did you see them like?
So like I was like 2 cars behind them when we got to the next red light.
So you weren't able to see.
And then like we were all traveling down the same road, and then we were all like having to stop at the same red light. So I was like, yo, you
why
almost fucking killed somebody?
Yeah.
Just for what? Just to get 4 cars ahead?
Yeah.
That is like,
I think there are people who play very dangerously, like on the road, but just in life in general, right? They do a lot of like crazy things. Like, I'm not trying to put my significant other out there or anything like that, but sometimes when she's driving, she'll drive as if there's like nobody else on the road with her. Like, so for instance, like she'll be driving and then like she'll want to like, she'll be like looking at a house or something like that. And then she'll like slow down. I'm like, there's other people who don't know what the fuck you're doing right now. Like you could be causing an accident just by like, but it's just like the thought process of I'm the only one on the road. And I don't know, man. And I'm not even trying to say that I'm like an expert.
My friend, like one of the things she always says, like, this is my lane. Like, someone's trying to like
mean?
merge in.
It's a road.
Yeah.
Like it's like whether you believe it's your lane or not. Like
I remember one time someone was trying to like pull out of like a cross street, and then I'm like, whoa, slow down, let that person out. She was like, absolutely not. I'm not letting it. And like then he had to like,
I have like the right of way.
Yeah, they had to like sit in the other lane with like oncoming traffic.
Jesus.
And I'm like, yo, slow down, let that person out. Like just chill. She's like, nope, it's my lane. And I'm like, fuck, people really drive like that.
And like, what if like an accident then happens to that person, and you're just like, whoa,
oh well. I asked her that. She was like, not my fault. It's my my lane. Like
and
they should stay where they were. I'm
what like what kind of
I don't care that. I'd slow down. I'll let you go. I'm not in that big of a rush.
No, but forget being in a rush. Like I feel like it's more about like you're not going to get one over on me.
Yeah,
and it's just like, who cares? Just
like, we all are paying car insurance that we usually don't use. We're all being scammed. Let's work.
God
together.
willing, we don't use. Like it's just like it's like you're not going to get one over on me, so I'm going to do this thing, but it's like we're going to interact for 5 seconds. Isn't it okay if I just, hey, you got this one, boss?
Yeah.
Like when people act so super aggressive on the road, like when somebody's like barreling down like the road or something like that.
I saw the other day. These people, this one guy in his truck, I think he got cut off by this like RAV4, and then it was a wife and a husband. I remember I saw them. They were just like, yo, like we're sorry. Like they were just trying to fucking go. And a guy in this big pickup truck fucking sped around me and other trucks, and he was like trying to like ram them a little bit.
Jesus.
Like he didn't do it, but he was like, kind of like
being super aggressive,
just to give them the middle finger. I'm like, yo, that's it, like the middle finger. Like now, thank God he didn't do any more than that.
Yeah,
but like road rage is crazy. Like,
I'm not gonna lie. I do get frustrated with people on the road, and I do like, what the fuck are you doing, right?
Yeah.
But I'll never like take that out on like the person or like try to like maneuver.
The most I'll do
like
is
these
just
are
look at them. Like,
exactly.
Dumbass.
You fucking idiot.
The most I do is I'm like, look at it. That's about as angry as I get. I rarely ever use my horn.
No, it'll take a lot. Like the only time I use my horn is when like they actually like we're at like a red light, turns green, and they just sit there, and I let it go an obnoxious amount of time. People will honk the horn at me, before I honk the horn at the person in front of me. And so I rarely, if ever, use my horn. In fact, to the degree where it's just like maybe this is I'm causing more problems than not.
My horn is actually really on my car. It's really difficult to use. You have to like punch the motherfucker.
So there's not like the quiet beep, beep. Hey, I'm trying to give you the quick sign. It's like no, you got to like lean into the bitch.
I had to use like a decent too much energy actually to use the horn. So that's part of the reason why I don't use it too much. I also I'm like, yo, like the light turned green. It's been 4 seconds. It's not that serious.
Yeah, just let it go. But that's my thought process. Is like it's again like with my partner, it's like we'll be driving and it'll be like somebody's like going like really slow. And I'm like, yo, just change lanes, do something else, like something. She's like, no, this person's just going to release. I'm like, well, yeah, clearly, like, but just you change your thing then, rather than being frustrated the person doesn't change their thing. It's just like, you're on the fucking road. Anybody's liable. Like my brother used to drive like that, where it's just like, he would tailgate people a lot. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, yo,
get if the person really close behind them.
Like, how do you like, oh my God, like, you know, whenever I get in car with somebody who like kind of like tailgates a bit, I'm just like, yo, all it takes is somebody to tap on the brake.
Yeah.
And you're fucked.
Exactly.
Everybody's fucked.
It's not that important.
Not that it's just lanes, fucking.
Or just slow down too. Like,
just slow down.
Where are we going? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
The game didn't even start yet.
All right. So let's talk super quickly about the last few things. Let's get the fuck out of here. All right. There's a new era at Netflix. Reed Hastings is stepping down as the CEO with Ted Sarandos as well as Greg Peters acting as co-CEOs. Peters was formerly the COO, the Chief Operating Officer, but now is being upgraded to CEO. And then basically they're just doing a lot of like fucking shuffling around from one. It's like, you know, when a head coach leaves or gets fired or whatever, sometimes you have like an assistant who steps out as the head coach. Yeah. Then other assistants step up in that person's role, yada, yada. And that's essentially what's happening here with Netflix. So Hastings founded Netflix, I believe. I guess he co-founded Netflix back in '97. Who was the other yo?
Ted
Sarandos. I don't think he founded it though.
Just co-CEO.
Well, he's co-CEO, but I don't think I'm talking about back in '97. Who were the co-founders? Because I don't think that was Sarandos. Sarandos was the. I think he had been. I don't know what he was before being co-CEO, but I don't think he's always been in that role.
Well, good for this guy. Fucking great idea.
Who founded Netflix?
Reed is an interesting first name. Who names a baby Reed?
I don't know.
Like, granted, I mean, this guy, he looks a little bit older, so he's probably born in like 1962 or something like that.
Yeah.
But even in 1962,
wasn't unusual to
be like, Reed. We're gonna name this baby Reed. It's like naming a baby. Like people who name George. Who's gonna name the baby George? It's a terrible baby name. But there's a lot of adults named George.
If you think so, if you feel very strongly about this, I'm not going to fight you on it. I'm not going to fight you.
Like, who would name a baby Frank?
Bro, I'm not going to fight you on this. Hey, if you
no, listen, I want to meet a parent with a newborn who gives them a name like Frank, George.
If you had a new child right now, what would you name it?
I have no idea. To be honest.
Yeah. What my point is that there's somebody out there who would. Okay, there's somebody out there who'd be like, "What the fuck?"
But I love pie. Name the baby.
All right, maybe somebody, because they love to read. I don't know. Like, you tell me.
Audiobooks.
Mark Randolph was the other co-founder of Netflix.
Okay.
But he, let's see. Netflix. Randolph ceded the CEO post to Hastings in 97 or 98. I'm sorry, 90. I'm just going through all the years. 99. He tapped out after 2 years.
Yo.
Oh my God.
Now I wonder how much
is he holding any stock? I'm pretty sure Netflix wasn't public at that point, right?
Yeah. So he's probably just got paid out. Yo.
Oh my! And it probably wasn't really, like, it's like 2 years after it launched, so it's just like it wasn't worth
probably
shit.
Left him like, you fucking idiot.
It always comes back to the wife with you.
Always
the wife and kids. Randolph ceded the CEO post to Hastings in 1999 and turned to product development. Okay, so it's not like he was like a slouch after that. So okay, fair on him.
Yeah, I wonder how long he stayed in the company.
No, that was it.
So he just went in product development.
Yeah, after that. They founded it in 97.
Did he go to product development within Netflix?
No, he just went to product development. Like it wasn't like he stayed at the, or maybe I'm lying.
I would imagine.
Oh, or maybe I am lying. Maybe you are right. So it doesn't say explicitly that he left Netflix. It's just that he turned to product development. So he ceded the CEO title to Hastings in 1999 and turned to product development. He and founding team member Mitch Lowe tested a concept for a movie rental kiosk called Netflix Express that Lowe turned into movie kiosk giant Redbox. Interesting. After Hastings rejected it as a line of business, Randolph left Netflix in 2002. So you were actually right.
Okay.
After helping guide the company through its initial public offering 2 years earlier. He credited Hastings with successfully scaling the company to 93 million subscribers worldwide, and said he preferred the startup stage. Okay, so I think I understand this. So he likes to start shit up, but he's like, I don't want to get locked down to this too long. I like developing businesses more than I do.
Okay, that's fair. And he probably still held on to.
You gotta
I
hold
would
on to
imagine
shares.
I'm going to hold on to if in the event that the company goes public, I retain a certain amount of shares.
Look, I've got some shit right now that has been not performing. I'm holding on to that bitch just in case. Yeah. Just in case, you know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
I've got some fucking EV company shares and whatnot that I'm like, they're not doing too well now, but I just hope a bigger company buys them out.
Who knows?
Yeah,
they might eventually. You know. You never know. But anyways, Netflix is doing all this like shuffling shit.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on with Netflix, right? They're fucking hiring flight attendants for $385,000.
Yeah.
The CEO stepped down. They had like a dip in price shares, right? Yeah. Dude, if I'm this guy, what's his fucking name again? Reed Hastings. That's right?
Leaving, yeah.
If I've been doing this since '97, you know, I've got the money. Like, it doesn't surprise me. Like, whenever a CEO of a large company steps down, especially if it's not like for reasons of the company's in turmoil, or you're jerking off on the fucking on the CNN. It makes like when Jeff Bezos stepped down. I remember my brother was very upset about it, and he was like, I think it was at the time Netflix was going, not Netflix, Amazon. They were like being like fucking investigated for something. There was like a big scandal going on with Amazon, and then
when aren't they, right?
Yeah,
people
and then
shitting, or not being allowed to shit, peeing in bottles and shit, you know, because they don't get breaks, you know.
I'm pretty sure it was like one of those things, and like I think that the company had taken a hit in stocks, and there was a bunch of shit going on. And like Jeff Bezos stepped down, and my brother was like, "Oh, that's bullshit. He's like running from responsibility." And I'm like, "Yo, he's been doing this for like 40 years."
Nah, there's a difference, bro. There's a difference between leaving like on your, like just like we're talking about now, like where he's like leaving on his own terms.
It wasn't Jeff Bezos who was like the. It wasn't about him.
No, it is like when you're the CEO, right? Basically, the buck stops at you, right? Because if you follow the chain of command, right? Like if a company has, it's why any CEO is the CEO, right? Is that you essentially the culture, the climate of the company starts with you. So if you are like, hey, I don't give a fuck what you guys have to do. We need to get these numbers down, or we need to get these numbers up or whatever. We need to send more packages if you're Amazon, or we need to make more shitty movies if you're Netflix, whatever the case is, right? Then the climate starts with you. And then it trickles down to everybody else. So if everybody else is in a fucking full-blown panic, it's probably because you're putting pressure on them in order to drive this forward, right?
Possibly.
Yeah. Now, I think that's pretty typically the case.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah. But I think in this case, what was happening with Amazon with the whole like labor issues is like, at certain like Amazon facilities, there were practices where like
that shit starts with Bezos.
The facility operates, very lean with like no bathroom breaks.
Yeah.
We got to get out certain blah, blah, blah. Sure, there is responsibility to the CEO to set a certain standard for like how employees in the company are going to be treated. Like, hey, if there's something wrong happening at even one facility in a small town in Pennsylvania, like we've got to address that issue. So I get that. But I also think that as far as I understand, Bezos had already planned to step down, right? So if I'm the CEO of a company and like, hey, I'm retiring this year, and then some shit's happening, it's like, can I not retire just because do I have to fix the shit first, or can I hand that off to somebody else? Like, is that 100% my fault?
No, I do agree. Some shit, it's just like unfortunate timing. I do agree, like that's a thing, right? But I think with Amazon, it's not like just like last year this shit started. Yeah. It's not like, it's like literally for the past like 10, 15 years, this has been sort of what the climate and culture of Amazon has been, is to push their workers to the fucking nub and just churn them out and not pay them a fair wage. And they're still putting together like unions and trying to unionize and shit in order to get like a minimum wage and all these things and benefits and yada yada, right? And fucking bathroom breaks. Yeah, could you imagine that, having to fight for a bathroom break? I can't even. I gotta lobby you for a bathroom break.
That is crazy. But I don't know. Like, so in this case, it's for. I don't think this guy Reed Hastings. I don't think he's like running from anything. He's been doing this for a very long time.
And Amazon or not Amazon on Netflix right now, I think is in a decent enough position. But I don't think that there's any like I don't. It doesn't seem like he's like it doesn't. There's nothing going on with Netflix right now that's just like, oh my god, this scandal that he's running away from. He's clearly stepping down because he doesn't want to deal with this. No, the company's in great shape right now, but it's also not like okay. It's not going to be in great shape for a long time. So if at all,
So let's get out of here now. Let's hand off the crown to somebody else. He's probably going to still get a large amount of. He probably still has a large amount of stocks.
Yeah.
He's probably going to get like a fucking payout, some type of pension.
No, he'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll 100% be fine.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be hurting. Yeah.
So if I'm this guy. And it doesn't state how old he is, but
we can find out.
If you got the money, just go be rich and live. Now he is gonna stay on as chairman, but a lot lighter expectation there than the face of the company as CEO.
Yeah, Reed Hastings is currently 62 years old.
Oh yeah. Listen, I'm gonna take this money and I'm gonna be on a golf course. I'm chilling. I'm company jet. I want what fucking Goodell got.
Nah,
right?
you want what fucking Travis Scott and fucking what's her name?
Travis who?
Travis Scott and Kendall, not Kylie.
Kylie, what'd they get?
Yeah, you know how people are like, oh, you pieces of shit because you're taking these jets when you don't like really need to, and it's the climate change shit.
Yeah,
that the climate activists are like all over them, and it's like, man, you know how many fucking people take jets for like just fucking dumb reasons.
And I'll get the electric one. When an electric one comes out, I'll get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Electric jet.
Guy,
would you trust an electric jet? An electric jet,
especially if you're flying through the air.
Oh my god!
There's a power outage.
Oh my god!
Does it come with a smaller jet inside that I can take that might be gas? Like, I need a plan B in this motherfucker.
He said a smaller one. That's
the jet
actually
has to
gas
come
powered.
with another gas powered jet that we could take.
Just flies alongside of it, just ready,
just me and like maybe like one other person I'd take with me, like parachutes with everybody else.
Anyways, that's what's going on with Netflix right now. Who knows where the fuck all this shit's gonna lead to? I don't suspect this is really gonna change anything as far as how Netflix operates. Everybody who's stepping up in a role, to my understanding, has been there for quite some time. Like, so for instance, Ted Sarandos he's been there for a hot minute, and I think he's been acting as co-CEO for a minute as well. So I don't foresee much changing with Netflix, which is kind of sad to say because I feel like Netflix, as weird as it might be to say, might be on its like last legs. And not last legs. That's an incorrect phrasing of it.
There might be a change in the tide coming at Netflix and how
there has to be a change of the tide because it's like they can't sustain it the way that they are. Like they're basically just driving themselves into more and more debt. Now, I feel like a time this worked, right? For a time, this was a good strategy, but at some point in time, you got to switch up that strategy because you're not going to be able to grow your subscriber base year after year after. At some point, you're going to hit like a natural saturation point where you're not able to add more subscribers to Netflix because everybody who fucking could have Netflix has Netflix, and if they don't have it, that means they don't fucking want it. In which case, just do what like Wells Fargo and them do, just give them Netflix anyways, just to show that you're growing. See, like, because that's what Wells Fargo did. They just opened up a bunch of bank accounts for people.
Yo, remember that shit?
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
Opened up two, and like, bankers at local banks were doing it too. There was a whole investigation that happened. It was just like a woman, I think it was like might have been in New Mexico.
Yeah.
She was like opening up fake bank accounts for like customers who were maybe even dead, just to like bolster her
sales and shit.
Yes, to make it look like, this branch is opening up. Like, what the fuck? Why do you care?
I
think she ended up in like jail for it. I'm not doing that just to fucking save my
She
job.
ended up in jail. She's like the only one. None of them went to jail over this shit with Wells Fargo.
None of the people high up, but I think like there were some people who were like held accountable.
But how fucked up is that?
Like that?
Is that they know the practice that you're doing, they've encouraged the practice that you're doing, and you're the person who has to go to jail.
Yeah,
that's.
But it's kind of like you're the one who did it though. Like, hey, you need to open up. You need to open up 100 new accounts next month.
I don't care how you do it. I don't care what you do. Wink, wink.
And then if you go open up 100 accounts for like dead people, then like I gave you what is it called? Like not orders, but like I gave you a quota to meet, right? And then you chose to hit that quota by committing fraud. That's the plausible
No,
deniability.
but it was,
like,
but it
people
wasn't,
high up get
it
to
wasn't
hold.
plausible. It's not even plausible deniability because this is actually like their model. It
Yeah,
wasn't like,
true. Yeah,
it wasn't
don't
like
get me wrong,
they
I'm not
did it
defending
like,
Wells Fargo, but it is sometimes shitty when like, while the company gives the mandate of like, hey, this is what needs to happen at all the branches
Yeah.
or all of our stores or whatever,
Yeah.
and it is the people in the stores who like do the thing that might be wrong or it might be fraudulent or just like not okay, like, you know,
Yeah.
with customer information or whatever, and then they're the ones who kind of get the finger pointed at them, like, well, you did it, and it's like, well, the CEO made us, right?
yeah. Or
And
at least
the
put
CEO
enough
is like, hey,
pressure on
you
you
know.
where you felt like you had like no choice, right? Because there's a world where you don't explicitly say this is what you have to do, but you put so much pressure on people that they're just like, Joy, you need to get your shit up by 300% in the next 3 weeks, and it's like, bitch, how the fuck, how would anybody do that?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Like, you know, so I don't know, man. We live in a fucking crazy world, man. Shout out to fucking Santos for living his best life.
Is that the dude? Oh, George Santos? Yeah, man. Let's keep going, Santos.
Yeah, you're teaching us all how to just live our best life in the middle of this chaos.
If everyone's going to lie,
Fuck
I'm
it.
just going to tell the best
Hey,
lie.
as they say, you know. On that note, let's get the fuck out of
Yeah,
here,
man.
man. Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you, love you. We'll be back at some point in time. Till then, we'll hit the usual fucking protocol.
Fade out.
Peace the fuck out, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your weekends.